Good morning. I'm Susan Copperman, Vice President of Industry Programming at the Paley Center for Media, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Matter Demo Day, New York City. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank the Knight Foundation for providing funding to make this event possible. As many of you know, the Paley Center for Media is committed to continuing the conversation about the creative, cultural, and social significance of media. Matter, an accelerator based in San Francisco, supports entrepreneurs who are building the future of media by changing media for good. So it is only fitting that after their West Coast Demo Day last Thursday, Matter would choose to host the East Coast version here at the Paley Center in New York City. While this morning is all about Matter, I'd like to take a minute to tell you about a couple of our upcoming programs that are produced for members of Paley's Media Council. The Media Council is our invitation-only membership community for executives like yourselves who are looking to stay ahead of the curve in the ever-changing, ever-evolving world of media. In addition to welcoming those members who are here today, I'd like to encourage all of you to pick up these materials on your way out, and I invite you to join us as members of the Media Council as well. Next Tuesday evening, September 23rd, we will kick off our Fall Next Big Thing series with a program focused on the innovation economy, also featuring media startups. On November 6th, once again with the support of the Knight Foundation, we will host a Next Big Thing in open government. Those are just two of the many events that we do, and we will be happy to talk with you about all of the other programs we have planned for the fall that are described in this packet, and of course you can look online at paleycenter.org/MC. Before we get to what matters, please note that today's program is being live streamed through Fora TV. In just a minute, Corey Ford, the co-founder and managing partner of Matter, is going to tell you much more. Corey, a former Emmy Award-winning journalist at Frontline, he was an Emmy Award-winning producer at Frontline, earned his MBA at Stanford, and he also taught design thinking at the Institute of Design at Stanford. And if that is not enough, he also started a VC firm for Eric Schmidt. Corey will join you shortly, but first I'd like to ask that you turn your attention to this brief introduction, this brief video introduction. Thank you for coming and enjoy the program.
At its heart, Matter is about community and culture. Over the past 5 months, these teams have been embracing the mindsets that are surrounding them here.
One of the tenets here at Matter is to be bold and be disruptive, and I think, to be an entrepreneur, you have to have that.
Everyone sort of is taking a risk and daring to change their company and their product and their assumptions, taking a step forward when they don't necessarily know what's going to be on the other side.
Something that I really have appreciated about being here is the way in which we've all supported each other as companies.
You know that you can tap other people for feedback on something, or to teach you some skill that you need for a week that they've spent a few years mastering.
In a way, you're getting a chance to experience the challenge that's specific to this other company that's right next to you.
I think being an entrepreneur, you're always dealing with constrained resources and extreme uncertainty. I think that might actually be the definition of entrepreneurship. The support of other entrepreneurs who are going through the experience with you to support you is really, really valuable.
We've had an intentional serendipity approach toward mentors and toward users. I really believe that just by talking to as many people as possible here, I would just find out things and learn things.
Yeah, being a mentor at Matter is a really exciting experience. You get to engage with bright, excited, dedicated people who really care about the industry. And they're innovative and they're exciting and they're thinking of new ways of thinking about old things.
We get to see companies from a very early stage. We see the really essential DNA to the team and the problem that they're captivated by, but more importantly, seeing the growth.
It can be really hard sometimes. It's, the feedback can be genuinely harsh, but it's harsh in a good way. And honestly, sometimes you need to have that failure. You need to have people tell you, you know, that doesn't work for us. That's not a good idea.
Matter is really encouraging us to make really quick iterations, and that's how it significantly changed the path and the pace of how we make our product and also realize our vision.
The pace of improvement from design review 0 through to demo day has been extraordinary.
The idea that within a 8 to 12 week window, people can come in and create a real product and then iterate and pivot and iterate again, it's fantastic.
Matter is a collaborative community by design, because that's really how innovation happens. It's not about having the same type of expert in the same room, but it's about cross-pollinating across business, technology, design, media, and creating sparks. Here at Demo Day, this here is intentional serendipity. There are amazing people throughout the audience. There's amazing entrepreneurs up here on stage, and there are going to be great connections that lead to big impacts in this room here today.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Matter Demo Day. Thank you all for braving the rain, the traffic, and the surge pricing to get here. We have a fabulous show in store for you today. I'm Corey Ford. I'm the co-founder and managing partner of Matter. And today, you are going to meet 6 ventures changing media for good. And we've traveled all the way out here from our home in San Francisco, right here to the world's capital of media to meet you, New York's media innovation and investment community. And what a community that's turned out today. Here is a list of every company that is in the room here today. So like I said in the video, today is about intentional serendipity. So after the pitches, you are going to hear 6 7-minute pitches from each team. Please stick around for our mixer upstairs and not only get to meet these amazing individuals, scrappy entrepreneurs, but also take the chance to meet each other. Thank you today for the Paley Center for hosting us in this wonderful venue. I couldn't think of a better place to have our demo day. Now, there are 3 companies on here that I have to say are more important than any others because they're our investors. They have made all of this happen by making a bet on us. So I would like to thank KQED, Knight Foundation, and PRX, our foundational partners, for making this all happen. Thank you very much. Now, before we get started with the pitches, why are we here today? Why do we do what we do here at Matter? Media connects us. Media is the connective tissue of our society. And it's really powerful. It has the opportunity to connect us, and it also has the power to disconnect us and to divide us. And what runs through these networks are stories. And stories are what define us. Stories are the way that we inform ourselves as a society. We use stories to pass on our values. And technology is empowering us to organize and tell stories in brand new ways that are changing the world. Now, the fact of the matter is, technology also disrupts. Technology is and has been disrupting the traditional storytelling institutions that we have come to rely upon. And the question is, what do we do about that? Well, I'm a big believer in what Clay Shirky wrote back when the bottom was falling out of the newspaper industry. He said, if the old model is broken, what will work in its place? And the answer is, nothing will work, but everything might. Now is the time for lots and lots of experiments. And as any good entrepreneur knows, everything big started small. Everything big started small. Right here, this is the first sketch, the first prototype of what would become Twitter, which is connecting and organizing us around the world. And it all started as a side experiment when the obvious team was trying to build a company in the podcasting space. Everything big starts small. Print may be down and now out. I know many of you in the audience will disagree with that, as media companies are spinning off their newspapers. But entrepreneurs are creating the future of media today. Entrepreneurs like the teams behind Indiegogo and New York's own Kickstarter have raised and distributed more money for creative projects, including media projects, than the entire National Endowment for the Arts in just a few years. Everything big starts small. Entrepreneurs like the team behind Vice News are the ones who are taking us inside the ISIS threat. Entrepreneurs like San Francisco's own Ev Williams, who've built Blogger, then Twitter, and now Medium. And yes, even entrepreneurs like New York's own BuzzFeed, who, yes, started with listicles that met us where we're at, but may have produced an economic engine that takes them deep into hard news. And entrepreneurs like the ones that you are about to meet today are creating the future of media. And today is a golden age of media to be seized. Just look at what Mark Andreessen has to say about it. He says, I am more bullish about the future of the news industry over the next 20 years than almost anyone I know. You're going to see it grow 10x to 100x from where it is today. And what does it take to get there? Vision, scrappiness, experimentation, adaptability, focus, deferral of gratification, and an entrepreneurial mindset. Sound familiar? This is exactly what we were focused on at Matter. At Matter, our mission is to support entrepreneurs, starting with those lots and lots of small experiments that have the potential to build a more informed, a more connected, and a more empowered society. And the way that we do that is we invest in them. We invest in them and we support them through a 5-month program focused on building scalable media ventures through a human-centered and prototype-driven process. And essentially, when it comes down to it, there are 2 key things that we do, 2 things that are our secret sauce that I think about every day. Culture and community. Culture and community. A culture that embraces the mindset of failing forward, failing fast in order to succeed sooner, which I think is the secret to Silicon Valley. And second, surrounding these entrepreneurs with a community that will support them along the way. Now, it was only a year and a half ago that we first opened our garage door at Matter and let in our first class. And I am extremely proud of the community that has organically grown around Matter to support these entrepreneurs. Over the last year and a half, we have had 102 office hour mentoring sessions held at Matter. 56 design review panelists have attended our infamous design reviews. 35 speakers have spoken in our speaker series or led workshops for our 51 entrepreneurs and for the 19 companies that we have supported in the last year and a half. Overall, 193 times our community has raised their hand and said, I want to support these entrepreneurs with my valuable time, my valuable resources, and my valuable connections. And I am very grateful for all of you who have helped us along the way. Let's please give everybody who supported us a round of applause. Now, it was less than 5 months ago that we opened up our garage door for the third time to let in our third class that we call Matter 3, of these companies. Half of them were already in San Francisco, but the other half uprooted their entire lives in order to move out and be part of this experience. We support extremely scrappy, driven entrepreneurs, and you're about to meet them. They all started very early stage. Many of them had a functioning prototype of their product or service coming in, but it's changed a lot since we first saw them. Over the course of 20 weeks, broken up into 4 one-month sprints, through our boot camp, through speaker series, office hours, share-outs, and our infamous design reviews, these teams have been failing fast, getting feedback, and doing what I like to call the drunken walk of the entrepreneur. Taking little bets, making little steps, learning, adjusting along the way, constantly seeking a more feasible, a more viable, and a more desirable venture, and seeking that product market fit. These are the 6 teams that you're about to hear from. Each are going to give a 7-minute pitch, and then afterwards we'll congregate upstairs so you get to meet them in person. These teams are going to redefine how you think about media. We are extremely proud of how they're building a more informed, a more connected, and a more empowered society. Who's ready to hear from these teams? Let's do it.
Good morning, everyone. It's so great to be here. My name is Alicia Rouault. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Local Data. So we're in a city, the city of New York, and I'm sure you might have noticed it's changing. Cities across the globe are changing faster than ever before. We're in an era of more data than ever before as well. We have data about ourselves and about our homes. And we're moving toward an era of the quantified city. But unfortunately, the decisions being made about the future of cities don't always take this data into consideration. So if we go back to San Francisco, where I just flew out from, there's a huge development being proposed for the new Warriors Stadium, a $500 million development. It's beautiful. And after the Warriors proposed it and picked out a site, spent a lot of dollars on the design, it got shut down. It was shut down due to a single ballot vote. And the reason this happened was because bad assumptions were made without good information. On the one hand, we had the citizens who were concerned about the impact that this development might have on their neighborhood, reasonable. And on the other side, we had real estate developers that were enthusiastic about the project but didn't understand that local context in enough detail. So if we fast forward to today, they've selected a new site. They actually purchased a new piece of land down the waterfront at Mission Bay. And this is Casey. Casey is responsible for avoiding the mistakes that were made on the initial proposal, and he needs to calculate success. He does so using data. And he'll begin by understanding the site in deep, granular context. He'll ask questions like, what is the existing behavior like in this neighborhood, not just of the stadium itself, but the surrounding area? How do people move around the city? He'll send out collectors to try to understand this information using pen and paper, gathering information about the way that bicyclists use space or how pedestrians cross streets. And then from there, this is the tough part. He spends hours upon hours gathering disparate data from across the internet, things from the census, from government data sources, from proprietary data sources, and he tries to gather it all together. It's just a preparation nightmare. Well, this isn't only Casey's problem. It's actually a problem many data analysts face across sectors. The New York Times recently reported that 50 to 80% of time is actually spent on that lengthy collection and preparation process. And that's just conventionally available data. Again, we're in an era of ubiquitous smartphones, more data than ever before that can tell us things like air quality coming from sensors, mobility, the way people move around a city. And that kind of information simply isn't being used in these major decisions. And that's due to technical roadblocks. Casey is not a programmer. He can't access this data. He sees a script and he shies away. So he's dealing with messy, raw government data that he's trying to bring together, and he's not even accessing the best data in the league. So this leads to costly assumptions and introduces risk, something no real estate developer wants in their project. So we created Local Data. Local Data is a platform for gathering diverse amounts of urban data about cities. We aggregate it into a single place, and then we allow analysts like Casey to actually process that data, filter it down, and then use it in financial models and other analytic methods. He begins by using our initial app, which is a mobile data collection tool, so he can go out in the field and actually collect data on movement, infrastructure, and other indicators in real time. And then from there, he brings it all into a dashboard. And so I want to show you a little bit about what Casey might see. So if we go over to the browser, he'll begin by drawing the boundaries of his site, of the area that he actually cares about. It's not just the stadium, it's actually the context, so it's the whole neighborhood. And he draws a boundary so that his data falls within those lines. He can begin to add the surveys that he had those folks go out and actually collect, so bicycle counts. I can click on the data that was collected and see instantly a trend over time on how bicycles were used in that specific context. I can add other survey data like pedestrian counts that somebody else has gone out to collect. And then from there, I can add in other variables like traffic congestion, seeing in real time where the intersections that might be problem areas are on a map. The other thing I can add is that really interesting real-time social media data. In this case, I want to look at Instagram. I want to understand the organic patterns of behavior in cities at a granular context. So great, he's got all of his data on a map, and now he can export it to plug into his model. He can see at a glance statistical assessment of the area that he's counting on, and he can use that to inform the decisions. So if I head back to the presentation, just press play, we can begin to understand what Casey might get out of all this data. He reaches a place where he is a win-win. He's moving away from risk and costly assumptions and moving toward a safe bet and a shared understanding between the stakeholders involved in this process. We've launched Local Data in 25 cities across the globe, and we've had some great traction. We have 30% growth quarter after quarter, and we're well on our way to achieving $230K in real revenue by the end of the year. We provide our customers an annual subscription of $5,000 to $20,000 a year, and we've helped solve problems using data in diverse use cases from supply chain management to transportation infrastructure, economic development, and vacant property assessment. Our beachhead is $2.72 billion. We're working right now in urban planning, architecture, and GovTech. That's the world that we came out of. I'm an urban planner, and we know it well. Adjacent to that market is a huge opportunity in commercial real estate and data science, which we're aggressively pursuing. We're the team to do this. We have backgrounds in urban planning, consumer technology, and we're truly experts in this space. We've been advised and supported by some of the best in the league. So here's our roadmap. Again, we've started out with this mobile collection data tool with a dashboard. We've raised a significant amount of money, and we're excited about the future. You just caught a glimpse of the aggregation platform that's currently in development. We're raising $1 million for the next 18 months and moving toward 2016, where we will integrate with the city sensor networks that are going to begin to dot the cities of the globe. We're excited to announce that our first 5 cities for this new data aggregation platform will be San Francisco and New York City, as well as Houston, DC, and Seattle, which are experiencing some of the highest real estate growth in the country. We're going to build a marketing and sales team, grow our engineering support, and really focus on those 5 major cities. We truly believe that better data makes better cities. So I ask you to join us on this journey and check out Local Data. Thank you so much.
morning, everyone. I'm going to start by showing you some really cool drone footage. It was shot off the coast of California by a videographer that Stringer, my company, sourced. He uploaded it to our platform, sold it, and then this happened. It aired. It aired on KGTV, and the anchor spoke. It aired on KGTV, the ABC affiliate in San Diego, where we are live. My name is Lindsay Stewart, and I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Stringer. We're a web and mobile-enabled service that allows our customers to request footage of anything, anywhere in 60 minutes. I spent more than 10 years as a TV news producer. I coordinated politics west of the Rockies for the Fox News Channel. And most recently, I was with ABC News, where I produced segments for World News Tonight and Good Morning America. And it was there I saw a distinct problem with how we brought in third-party footage, namely from stringers. And these are people who shoot footage on spec, and then they try to sell it. And this is the challenge, so to speak, the current challenge. What they do is they try and sell it. They call a station. They talk to producers, assignment editors like myself, and oftentimes we're buying this footage sight unseen. And then the videographer is trying to figure out how to get it in-house. And oftentimes, surprisingly enough, they drive it in, which takes a lot of time, inefficient process. And then if all goes well, even if the footage makes it to air, the videographers are waiting a long time to get paid. 60 days, I've heard even up to a year. And, you know, getting social media footage isn't a much faster process either. This is an example of me from one of my last stories at ABC. I wanted to get some really cool footage of a tornado in Missouri, and I contacted the guy on YouTube because that's how I would get the legal license for it. And I sat there and I waited. And so I never got the footage. That guy lost an opportunity to make some money, and I didn't get to air that really cool footage. So keep pain points in mind. And then there were these enabling, bolstering trends. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket these days. Those cameras are getting better than ever. Apple just has some stabilization technology installed in their latest phones. Mobile broadband is faster, and storage of video, large files, is cheaper because of the cloud. And it's not just TV news that wants footage of anything, anywhere. It's, you know, a lot of other customers, which we'll talk about just a little bit. So that's why we built the platform, and I'm going to give you an inside look. And as I get this set up, I'm going to put you in the shoes of Joel Davis, news director at KGTV in San Diego. And every day he walks into the office and he has 10 stories he wants to cover, and he has the staff videographer resources to cover about 5 of them. And it used to be he had to let go of those other stories and move on, but now he logs into our platform, and here you see a map view. And each pin represents videographers that we have brought online in San Diego. And so he can look around and see what's there and just preview footage as he likes it. But he can also request footage of anything that he wants. And so he's heard that Matter Demo Day is a pretty big deal in New York. Even they want to hear about it in San Diego. He sets a deadline in the future and even inputs the address. Puts in some details, and he sends out a request. And then anybody with our mobile app gets a notification that they can shoot this footage, upload it to our platform, and he can go in and preview it a little bit later. And then he gets to other editorial questions, and he can start discovering on our platform other stories. And what's key about our platform is he can look into the future, get footage that he wants, but he can also respond to breaking news, because chances are our hundreds of videographers can respond to breaking news faster than his 3 or 4 on staff. And so he can discover stories. We'll go back to that map view, click around. He can see what's happening down in Tijuana. And what's key is we're getting these videographers organically onto our platform. One simple job ad netted me 100 new leads for videographers in the area. And so it's very exciting for him because he can discover stories as he likes, preview footage, get it, download it, and move on with his life. So how did that request go? Well, let's check it out. Looks like somebody accepted it. and maybe it's still encoding for a while, but let me give you an example of something he did request. He was able to preview, compare, and contrast video from all over his area. So that's basically how the platform works. Let's get back to the presentation. We bring on customers. I'll hit play like Alicia did. We bring on customers quite easily. They take a look at it. It's an intuitive platform. We've solved for a key pain point. They look over their shoulder, another customer in San Diego, a couple others waiting in the wings to use it. And the money flow is pretty simple. Videographers upload to our platform, media outlets buy from us, stringers get a cut, and we get paid by the stations and media outlets, and that's where we capture our pretty hefty margins. So, like I said, we're live in San Diego, and that's where we're going to be in the next month, bringing on the more customers that have already agreed to use our platform. I'm very excited about it. And then we're going to be rolling out about one new market per month for the next 12 months, and that's how we'll achieve the national rollout. But it won't be just TV stations. You can imagine what the power of getting footage of anything, anywhere might be to commercial real estate, advertising. And you've heard enough about me, but a team is what makes an idea executable. We've taken this idea from pilot, we've made it live, and my team has over 40 years of experience. Brian McNeil left Ernst & Young after 10 years as a management consultant. He also worked at Microsoft as a product manager. Hanada Martins, he came from Groupon and Microsoft, both in technology lead positions. We all met at the Wharton School. We have experience leading large teams. We know how to scale. We've raised $500,000, and that's how we're building out the San Diego market. And we're going to go to 3 more markets this fall and early winter. And we're going to be looking to raise about $1.5 million in January and February so we can achieve that national rollout. And much of the success you've seen has been in private beta, but I'm proud to announce that our app will be available in the App Store in October. Which really means that the power of Stringer will finally be in the hands of the crowd. That is something that's not lost on major media conglomerates who have already come to us asking how they can source footage for us. We are looking for customers who want to harness that same power, and then for investors who want to help us achieve that mission of sourcing footage of anything, anywhere in 60 minutes. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning. I'm Layla Kunjalar. This is Joe Brilliant, and we are Educrate. So I've been in education for 13 years, most recently at KIPP Bayview Academy, a KIPP school in the Bay Area, where I spent the last 8 years as an English teacher and the assistant principal. And today I want to tell you a story about one of my students, Ardelia. A few years ago, I was teaching To Kill a Mockingbird, and Ardelia was not feeling it. I don't blame her for not connecting to a book about a small town in the South written about the 1930s, but it is my responsibility to bring my lessons to life for students. So we watched some videos about Emmett Till, about the Scottsboro Boys, and this changed her attitude because it brought the text to life. And my experience with Ardelia speaks to a larger trend in education. I've used video for years to engage and inspire. So have my colleagues at KIPP schools across the nation, but it goes beyond us. We've learned that 74% of teachers are regularly using video, and 90% say it's having a really positive impact on student outcomes. So we share a common practice, but we're facing a familiar problem, and that's with discovery. If I want to teach a grammar lesson tomorrow and support it with video, I have over 2 million search results. This filter is ineffective for me because it doesn't allow me to search by grade level or by standard. Ads can be distracting, sometimes inappropriate, and a lot of video is really long. And we interviewed 50 teachers, and 75% of them are saying the same thing. They're struggling to find effective video content. And it becomes a costly problem. If teachers are spending even an hour a week searching, and I know they're spending more, but even an hour a week searching, This takes 2 million lost teaching hours. If we put a price tag to that, over the course of a year, it's costing us $2.6 billion. And this is why I'm thrilled to share Educrate with teachers and with you today. Educrate is a resource that's bringing video into the classroom, so teachers spend less time searching and more time teaching. And this is through the power of curation. I'm going to hand it over to our founder and CEO, Joe Brilliant, who's going to tell you even more about our product. Joe.
Thank you, Layla. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So how do we solve for this problem of discovery and unlock the educational potential of video? Our solution is curation. Now, curation is admittedly a bit of a buzzword these days, but it's far from a fad. The discovery and distillation of important information and media is a time-honored tradition, dating all the way back to Moses, who made the first top 10 list, to custodians of great arts organizations like the Louvre, to DJs and record stores, to consumer media curation platforms like Pinterest and Tumblr and Flipboard that are used by millions of people every day. Our product, Educrate, harnesses the power of curation to create a resource of the web's best educational videos, curated by teachers for teachers, so they can spend more time teaching and less time searching. So how does it work? A teacher curator on our platform, who we affectionately call educrators, can use our created bookmarklet tool and quickly compile video from across the web aligned to a subject into a simple, lightweight container or a playlist that we call a crate. Once that crate is published on our platform, it's then available and accessible to any teacher in the world who can then access the crate for their own reference. They can bring it up in class, and they can share it with the students. And in a matter of minutes, they now have access to all those videos through the power of curation. So let's take a look at how Educrate works in the context of a real teacher. Meet Michaela. She's an 8th grade English teacher at Kip Montebello College Prep in Denver. Let's say tomorrow she's teaching a class on using evidence to support a claim. Now, she knows video is going to be the best way to engage her students, but she's dreading spending hours in front of search results. Thankfully, a colleague turns her onto Educrate. She goes to the homepage, and right there, she can quickly filter crates or curated collections of videos by other teachers, by grade level, by subject, and even by standard. Right there on the homepage, she can find a crate of videos that's exactly aligned to the standard she's teaching tomorrow. It's full of videos from across the web that another teacher has compiled. She can click through and see this crate was curated by a fellow educator like Layla, so instantly she has a confidence that the videos in this crate are compelling, accurate, and appropriate. And instead of spending hours looking for a video, in a matter of minutes, she has a perfect video for her class tomorrow, and now even has time for dinner with her husband. We're very excited to say Educrate's already being used by hundreds of teachers across the country, and they love it. Michaela's told us it saved her countless hours of time. Courtney in San Francisco has told us it's a great resource for her, her colleagues, and her students to reach the new Common Core standards. So what's the Common Core? The Common Core is a new set of national educational benchmarks being embraced by over 40 states this fall. And it may sound simple, but it's actually quite profound and actually historic, because for the first time we have a common language of national expectations of students in our country. And the Common Core is also the roadmap that we're going to be using to seed content and Educrate to make it as valuable and useful for as many teachers and students as possible. And our plan for this is a new Indiegogo campaign that we just launched to raise funds to pay educators and other experienced teachers like Layla to use their expertise to curate crates aligned to the new standards. For $50,000, we'll be able to curate crates for all the middle school standards in math and English. We're very excited to be partnering with KQED and Common Sense Media. We've got great perks to give away, including naming rights on a crate, so you can become the patron of Gerunds or geometry if you'd like. And in less than a week, we're already at 33% towards our goal. Thank you. With your support, we'll blow right past it. So our timeline, for the next 2 months, we're focusing on our Indiegogo campaign to seed content, build our community, continuing pilots at KIPP schools and other schools across the country. Our goal for the end of year to curate all the middle school standards, implement the responsive redesign I demoed earlier. Next year, our goal is to curate content for all the Common Core standards, at which point we'll be closing our angel round, and later in the year adding more subjects, more sources, and we'll be opening our seed round. Now, while we're focused right now just on seeding content, building community, improving our product, and getting feedback, there's lots of reasons to be excited about Educrate as a venture. The US institutional market for educational software and content is an $8 billion industry. And whereas selling software to schools used to be like selling a mainframe to the military, we're in a very exciting new time where it's now possible to get products into teachers' and students' hands inexpensively and rapidly, which is exactly what we're doing. Mary Meeker dedicated a whole section in her Internet Trends report this year, citing these as reasons to be optimistic about education, the sentiment we very much share. We've got a great team with a diverse array of skills to tackle this problem and opportunity. I did my MBA in social entrepreneurship at the University of Oxford. I spent my career at the intersection of media and technology, most notably at Current TV, where I met my good friend Layla through a mutual friend. And in the process of our need-finding interviews at Matter, I reached out to her to validate our problem and solution. She not only did so, she's joined our team along with Uraj, our engineer, and Tim Olson from KQED, who's joined our advisory board.
Like Joe said, we've been friends for years, and he's been such an advocate for my work in education, which is driven by a passion to get excellent instruction to all students like Ardelia. And I know firsthand how the power of video and how necessary it is to the success of a 21st century classroom where all students feel engaged and inspired to reach their potential. Please join our Indiegogo campaign. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, good morning. It's great to be here. My name's Ben. This is my co-founder, Erin. We're from Known, and I'd like to introduce you to Elle. She's a public relations major, and like a lot of students right now, she's just starting another year at university. And like a lot of students, she uses a wide array of apps and social networks. There are apps for uploading photos, for messaging with your friends, for watching videos online. And students like Elle, who are used to these beautiful app and social network experiences, are paying tens of thousands of dollars to enter college and embark on a journey where they're going to learn new skills and hopefully be prepared for a future career. And what they're being given is this. This is a learning management system, and unfortunately 93% of higher education institutions use them, and 65% of them say that they've got really bad usability. And what's worse, on average, they pay over $1 million a year for the privilege of running one. But the real problem is this: students are expected to learn in an environment centered around course administration rather than learning itself. So we built Known to put students at the center of their learning and give them control over their coursework and ideas. Here's the plight of students like Elle today. She's forced to use her learning management system to upload her coursework, to discuss ideas with her peers, and even to communicate with her teachers. And what's worse is once the course is over, it's completely locked away from her. She's got no way to access that content, and sometimes it's completely deleted. There's no archive at all, meaning she's got no way to build on it as she continues her learning journey. With Known, she publishes to a simple, beautiful, personal learning environment that she controls, and then syndicates it to the networks and to the course software she already uses. So let's see what kind of a difference that makes for her in practice.
Previously, Elle was required to use Moodle as her course platform. She's in a creative writing course this semester, and this is her space for submitting assignments and receiving grades. It's centered around course administration, and it's difficult to tell how you might upload assignments, see your lessons, receive your grades, and there's no real indication that this is an interface that could be used for blogging and social discussions with your classmates. But this semester, Elle has Known, and now she has an entirely different experience. This is Elle's website on Known. She's able to use her website for blogging and for sharing notes and research on projects that she's working on, and for submitting assignments and sharing them with her classmates and professors. When Elle's ready to work on her creative writing course every day, the first thing she does is log into her website and take a look at the most recent comments and postings. Her professor posts their lessons and assignments and reading materials online every day, and Elle can get those right here in her own site. Here's the assignment for this week's essay. When she's done taking a look at that, she goes through the most recent comments and posts from her classmates. They share things like drafts of essays that they want feedback on, notes for projects, and Elle can leave a comment and join the discussion from her very own website. She's already gone through several versions and drafts of the essay for this week's assignment, and when she's ready to submit that assignment, she posts it from her very own website. She can submit it here, and she can choose to make this assignment available publicly to everyone, privately, or she can share it just with her classmates or just with her professor. She can also choose to share this post to her friends and peers on social networks like Facebook and Twitter, but most importantly, she chooses to send this assignment to her creative writing course space on Moodle. Once she's published it, she has this copy that lives on her website where she'll always have it. But more importantly, it's been submitted to her creative writing course space on Moodle. So here's that assignment, and she never had to log into Moodle to submit it or do anything. With Known, Elle has access to her entire campus ecosystem from a simple, beautiful website that she controls.
And she's not alone. This is Jim Groom. He's the Director of Teaching and Learning Technologies at the University of Mary Washington in Virginia. The Chronicle of Higher Education named him as one of their top tech innovators who's transforming campuses. And he told us that Known allows him to push the envelope of what's possible in digital learning in a way that wasn't possible with the tools he was previously using. And we started our first pilots with Jim a few weeks ago, and already over 100 students have created their own Known sites as part of his courses. And we've got more pilots starting this fall. We're also available to over 100 additional institutions right now through our partners. There are 21 million post-secondary students in the US today. At the prices that our competitors charge, we think that's around a $420 million market. That is forecast to double over the next 10 years, but even today, once you include corporate and K-12 education, we think that's a $1.5 billion market. And we sit at the intersection between social networking, personal publishing, and learning management systems, all of which are big markets in themselves. So how are we selling this? First of all, the core of Known is open source. So if you've got the technical ability, you can take the core software, install it on your own servers, and run it from there. But we think most people are going to use our software as a service offering. So if you're an educator that wants to run your own course on Known, you can use our cloud-hosted subscription service. And if you're a campus that wants to run Known across your entire campus, if you're an institution, you can use our recurring annual license. Right now, we are running pilots with a select number of early adopter institutions, and based on the results of those, we're going to sell those software as a service course spaces. Now, you don't need any institutional backing to get those at all, but once we have enough educators at an institution who are running Known to run their courses, we can actually start selling those institutional licenses. And that's where we start integrating with the learning management systems and other course software. And once we have got a base of institutions that are running Known, then we can use that as a springboard to enter corporate and K-12 education and begin exploring other markets. So the core of Known is open source. It's really easy to extend. Every single feature has an API interface. And that means that people from other markets, like marketing and journalism, are already coming to us and asking how they can integrate Known into their ecosystems. Last Thursday, in conjunction with Matter Demo Day, we publicly launched Known. Thank you. So right now, you can visit withknown.com to get started with our hosted beta or to download that core Known software and install it on your own infrastructure. We believe we're the right team to bring this to market. I previously co-founded ELG, an open source community platform that was used in education by institutions like Harvard and Stanford, as well as organizations like NASA and the World Bank. I was also CTO at Latiku, which changed the way organizations like NBC News gather content.
And I'm a user experience architect, and I've worked in the education space consulting for organizations like the American Association of Colleges and Universities and Knowledge Universe, and I've designed products for brands and companies like eBay, Coca-Cola, Intel, and Microsoft.
And our advisor, Kevin Marks, is a really well-respected social web expert who's had high-ranking positions at companies like Salesforce, Technorati, British Telecom, Apple, and Google. And we all believe in a world where students own their own content and ideas online, and where students can take that with them when they graduate. We're raising $500,000 in order to bring our product to market and expand our team. And we would love for you to join us on this journey and help establish Known as the definitive way to own your own content and ideas online. Thank you very much.
So, do you remember Occupy Wall Street? And I'm guessing you've probably heard of Fox News. Well, I aired a TV ad for Occupy Wall Street on Fox News. Over 300 people crowdfunded $20,000 to put a 30-second video directly from Zuccotti Park into the homes of viewers of The O'Reilly Factor. This was actually one of dozens of experiments we ran. People crowd promoting their messages to national television, as well as billboards across the United States, even a few here in Times Square. Overall, our platform reached over 34 million people with crowd promotion offline, which got us thinking, what if we were to build a version of our platform designed for the scale of the internet? So over 100 hours of video being uploaded to YouTube per minute. There's over 1 million links being shared every 20 minutes on Facebook. It's clear that people are trying to be heard. But as social media has matured, we're discovering that we aren't actually reaching the people that we thought we were. And even when we do, it turns out that we're reaching those within our existing silos and tribes. This stark visualization from Gilad Lotan of BetaWorks shows the echo chambers that exist online. In this case, among Twitter users during the recent discussion of the violence in Israel and Gaza. It's clear that there's a major opportunity and need for people to reach beyond their own networks. And so based on all of our experience, we set out to create an organizing mechanism that could accomplish 3 things. First, surface and identify real bottom-up conversations that are trending and deserve more attention. 2, give supporters easy ways to identify the most engaging content within those conversations. And then 3, give organizations and individuals a way to fuel those conversations and drive them to places they've never been before. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Louder, the crowd promotion platform for conversations that matter, through one of our early users, Teddy. So Teddy is a believer in the open internet and follows the conversation about net neutrality on Twitter. And last Monday, he clicked on a link from the movement organization Fight for the Future that invited him to choose which link should be amplified to over 10,000 people to help the cause. So when he arrived on the Save the Net channel on Louder, he sees the trending articles and videos around net neutrality. And he can easily upvote the things that he believes deserve more attention, and he can check out winners from the last few weeks of voting. He sees that there actually isn't a video that some of his friends made about net neutrality that's actually amazing, and he decides to go ahead and submit that video. And after submitting, he tweets about it and then goes back to his day. Now, this was on Monday. Later that week, he arrives and gets notified from Twitter, from Louder, that congratulations, your link has actually won for Save the Net for that week. He's got over 100 votes, and throughout the weekend, he gets additional notifications from strangers that are interacting with his link. And on Monday morning, when he goes back to Louder, he sees that his link has reached over 16,000 people who are followers of Netflix, Game of Thrones, ESPN, people that he could have never reached on his own. So how did this all happen? First, people vote every week for a winning link per channel. 2, sponsors pay Louder for the engagement and analytics happening around that experience. And then 3, after Louder takes our margin, we pay an ad network, in this case, Twitter, for the targeted reach. Now, we're starting with causes because they have the most passionate communities. But let me be super clear. The market for Louder is every brand, every politician, every artist that's looking to reach beyond their own tribe in an authentic way. So why would sponsors pay Louder when they could just buy ads directly? Well, it turns out that brands can no longer just pay for attention. They have to earn it just like the rest of us. And so the dollars that have historically been going to old school interruptive advertising are now being funneled towards new, growing, multi-billion-dollar markets that are all focused on real engagement and purpose, which is exactly the sweet spot that Louder operates in. Not only that, we're leveraging some of the exact same user behaviors that have propelled the likes of Reddit, Upworthy, and Change.org to be such high-growth companies. So in addition to the explosion of content marketing and crowdfunding, The other key aspect to this new reality is the ability for crowds to self-organize globally around hashtags. This is fundamentally changing the power dynamic between people and advertisers. And so with Louder, instead of brands manufacturing fake, quote, branded content, we give them a way to sponsor real bottom-up conversations in a meaningful way. You know, what would be possible if all of us helped shape what was promoted in our culture? So what's our plan and why are we the right team to get there? I'm Colin Muchler, I'm the CEO. I have over a decade of experience leading major global campaigns for both advertising and online activism. Phil and Tobias have been designing software for years at the intersection of culture and design. And we're backed by some of the top investors and advisors in this very unique space. Now we're proud to announce the public launch of Louder with our first launch partners, 350.org and Fight for the Future. Now, we've chosen these groups not only because they deserve more reach, but also because their large, active communities represent the kind of participatory, empowered culture that Louder is helping to accelerate. We've got a robust pipeline of prospects for sponsored channels and anticipate having 20 by the end of October and 200 by the end of the year. We've already raised $300,000, including investments from Matter, the Knight Foundation, and the NIA Community Fund. And we're raising a $750,000 round to build out our team so that we can integrate with additional ad networks beyond Twitter, as well as build out our embeddable tools, which are key to our growth strategy. Starting with the Louder button, which has already been tested successfully with Upworthy, Policy Mic, and others, as well as our own custom ad unit, which will be the backbone of our own ad network in 2015. This is all setting ourselves up to the lead up of 2016, to be ubiquitous across the internet in what might be the biggest opportunity in a generation for paid promotion, the US presidential election. So if you truly want to help shape the future of media, I invite you to invest in a world in which authentic, bottom-up conversations can truly be supported and made louder in our culture. Thanks so much.
Good morning. My name is Jude Fulton. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Musi. So this is showrooming. Checking stuff out in stores and then ordering online is becoming the new way to shop. In fact, it's so widespread that at least half of us in this room have done it, and it's costing retailers an estimated $200 billion a year. It's fueled in part by mobile retail sales, which have grown at 300% in 5 years and don't show any signs of slowing. The status of traditional brick and mortar? Well, they're struggling, and they'll continue to struggle so long as they continue to focus on things and inventory rather than experiences. But what if we could leverage showrooming and a massive mobile market to radically redefine retail? What if we could make the world our showroom and purchase seamlessly, anytime, anywhere, products which are hidden in plain sight? To do so, we're going to have to radically rethink the relationship between customers like all of us and makers. So meet Ariel. She's 28 and she lives in San Francisco. She's a pinner and she's an Instagrammer, and that's where she finds out about emerging brands as well as Musi. When she heads to her favorite coffee shop, she's intrigued by the offer to find exquisite things hidden in plain sight. So she downloads our app, and this is what she sees. It's an app that knows her location in real time, so she's able to see all the places that are unconventional showrooms on our platform. And when she clicks into SightGlass, she sees products that she's never noticed but have been there the entire time. This Chemex coffee maker, for example, is being used by the barista on the right to make her coffee. And so she can simply check out, add to her cart, and it's actually on the way to her house the next business day. If there's something that she likes, but she's not sure she wants to buy, she can simply pocket for later. Sometimes there are things in the real world that are not on the app. So she simply takes a photo, jots down a few words, and can ask the community to help her find it. She earns points for scouting, which add up to discounts. So with each additional member or each additional user, there's value that's created and generated for the entire network. So I know that was a lot. Let's pause for a minute and think about what just happened. Ariel went to work, and then she went to get her coffee, and she had a normal routine. But this time, Musi unlocked a hidden ecosystem of makers, customers, and a real-world context. And it was incredibly easy to do so because Musi is the point of sale. After Ariel makes a purchase, we actually notify the manufacturer that then ships directly to her house. And Sightglass Coffee, without any distraction from their core business of food and hospitality, has created revenue for themselves. The way that the fee breaks down is that after Ariel pays, we receive 17% for brokering the relationship and hosting the transaction, and makers take home 80%, a margin that's far greater than that of traditional brick and mortar right now. Sightglass takes home a 3% affiliate fee for doing very little to no work. Essentially, Musi is a network of showrooms in which makers can get their products out in front of us in the flesh all over the country. So why are we doing this? Well, my co-founder and I met here as students at the Harvard Graduate School of Design, and we could really feel the excitement of the maker movement. We believe that today's makers will become tomorrow's brands. And they're fueled because for the first time in history, 3D printing, laser cutting, and fabricating allows them to make and create at a level of efficiency that's never been seen before. The only problem is they can't afford to get into retail at the current margins they're being offered. So Musi will effectively widen that retail floor so that people like Dylan have a shot. This is Dylan from Revolution Design House, who told me that he's always looking for new high-margin channels in which to distribute his products. Or Nicholas from Ohio Design, who tells me about how he gets phone calls from people who discover his furniture in the offices of Airbnb, Dropbox, or Lyft. They crawl underneath, they look for the label, and they call him saying, "Where do I get a desk like that for my home office?" Right? Nicholas is really just one of millions of Americans who are small to medium-sized businesses that make up our core. Musi is not focusing on one-off custom makers, nor are we focusing on multinational conglomerates. It's the small to medium-sized business that's right at the core. And all of them have the ability to ship direct to customers. They're online, but they're not on Amazon. And they have a great story to share with us because they have a unique identity and a brand. On Etsy alone, there's 650,000 of them, and they generate about $1.2 billion in value for that one company alone. So let's think about Nicholas. Let's say you're Nicholas, and this is your spreadsheet of inventory. How do you onboard to the Musi platform? Well, it's pretty easy. This is a spreadsheet of all of his products. You simply take their URL, and you just drop it onto our website. And what you receive is actually a spreadsheet of your products. But this is something that Nicholas has never seen before. It's a map view of where all of his products are located in San Francisco, where he's based. And this is something he's never seen before. So that's great for Nicholas, but what does that mean for us as customers? Well, we remember Ariel. Ariel follows Nicholas at Ohio Design on Musi. And when she opens the app, she's notified when his product is nearby. So when she opens up the app, she can actually go to his product in real time and find it. This hashtag SFMade is about locally made furniture in San Francisco. So she clicks on it, and she kind of likes what she sees, so she turns it on so that when she buys a product like that in the future, she'll be notified. That means that this notification, oh, there's one right there. So as she walks by, it tells her when she's near something that she's interested in. That means that that's a personalized notification that she herself has customized because she's interested in it, right? We've all had that experience of being notified of something we didn't care about. So Musi is really about seamless product discovery. We've taken hunting and gathering, put it on crack, pushed it into the 21st century. So how are we going to do this? Well, our strategy of attack has been twofold. The first is that we're focusing on brands and makers that have a presence all over the country, and then we're seeding our database with where their products are located. The second is with a geographic focus. What we're doing is looking at cultural districts like the Mission District in San Francisco and rolling out our app by saturating those areas. Then based on our findings there, we're actually able to roll it out to San Francisco, New York, LA, and the country as a whole. This is the team that's doing it. As I mentioned, we have deep experience with makers and maker culture, but the team as a whole really has incredible experience with products, with making, with small businesses, and it's a really deep bench. I wanted to share with you a glimpse into our last 12 weeks at Matter. We are a team that moves fast. We make and break fast. We've done 30 locations, 200 products. We have a beta going on with Ritual Coffee, and our app is currently in private beta, which you can request after this presentation. And we're happy to announce that we're kicking off a seed round of $500K that will allow us to pilot in San Francisco, build our database of 100 brands, and actually launch in the market closest to us, Los Angeles. So we invite you to join us if you are an adventurous investor that can reimagine the future of retail. And for everyone, please feel free to reach out. If you'd like to join us on this mission to make the world our showroom. Thank you.
Wow, I gotta say, I feel like I have the best job in the world because I had the honor of working side by side with each and every one of these amazing individual, scrappy, driven entrepreneurs. Let's give them another round of applause. And now, in a moment, you are going to have an opportunity to meet these entrepreneurs as well. In a moment, we are going to go back upstairs to where we were earlier this morning for a mixer. We are going to magically transport ourselves out through this door and appear upstairs, so please meet us there. But first, an announcement. Applications for Matter 4 are now available. If you know any scrappy, driven, hungry entrepreneurs like these ones on stage, changing media for good, send them our way. All the information is at our website, matter.vc. I want to thank our founding partners and investors, KQED, Knight Foundation, and PRX, for making a bet on us and making this all happen. Let's please give them a round of applause. I want to thank our generous hosts at the Paley Center for having us here today. I want to thank my fabulous team. Jake Shapiro, co-founder of Matter. This all started with him. And Lara Ortiz-Luis, who pulled all of this off and all of our programming off here. Most importantly, I want to thank you, the community, over 100 strong, who have turned out, opened up their wisdom, their contacts, their connections to help these entrepreneurs here on stage and the 51 entrepreneurs that we have supported over the last year and a half. Thank you all for helping us. And to those of you who this is your first experience at Matter, welcome to Matter. We are a community changing media for good. Thank you.